Hi guys, and welcome to on-screen keyboard created using Python. Now let me show you guys how this works. Let's delete what we have in here. Just going to come in here. Let's say you want to just enter numeric value. Yes, you can do that. You can do whatever you like as well. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Python development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's do that. So I'm going to click on close. Let's start a new project. Click on file, and right here the first thing is let's import the following. Let's import Tkinter. I'm going to import that as, let's just say, TK, and we then say from Tkinter I would like to just import all as well. Import all. Now the next thing is I'm going to give my project a class name that's going to be root.tk, and let's enter parentheses. Now in the case of root.tk, let's enter a title for that, root.title, and that is going to be on screen keyboard, and run that up. Now let's say root dot on screen keyboard, and I want to just configure the background for that. Let's say background, that will be equals, I'm going to go for my regular color, okay, that blue there. Now I'm going to set up the geometry as follows. Root dot geometry, that is to do with the size, the width, and the length, and the height, sorry. So geometry, and I'm going to make that about, let's go for 1260 by 500. So, and the coordinate, let me make that maybe 100 by 100. Okay, that's the position where that would be. So let's now say I'm going to enter a title for my project. So let's create a label there, txt label, and that is going to be equals, the widget is label, and this label is going to be inside the root, comma. The width of this, we make that about 39, and back color for this, I'm going to make that cadet blue as well. There we go. Now the font, I'm going to make the font, I'm going to set it for area. There, and make that about 40. I will also make it bold. Close that up. What text do I want to need? So I'm going to, let's say text, that would be equals. Let it tab. So that will be backspace, tab, and I'll just enter on screen keyboard. And get it tabbed again. Run that up, comma, and get it padded just, let's say, about 12. And close that off. Now come back in here. So we now want to say, run this up. The title dot geometry, title dots grid, that will be role is going to be 0 equals 0, and the column, I'm going to make that 0 as well. Column equals 0 there. Now that that is done, let me create a frame for this. So come right underneath here. I need a frame for all my widgets. So let's say main frame, and that is going to be the widget called frame. And let's close that and just say root, because it's going to be housed by the root. Root, that will be let's go for, just for it to look a bit different, I'm going to go for powdered blue there. And the border, I'm going to make the border, let's say equals 10, comma, the width, that will be, let's go for approximately 1250. Yeah, that would do. There should be an equal sign here. Okay, the height, so we can also settle for, yeah, we can settle for about 500 as well. So let's just say height, I'm going to make that about, let's say 490, comma, and I want it to be rigged. There we go. No, that should be rigged. E. Close that. Okay, now let's round up the mainframe itself. I'll just say mainframe dot grid, and I'm gonna copy all of these, paste that there. That's the mainframe. Mainframe will be on row 1, and the column is going to be 0. And let's get it parted to the x-axis. I'm going to make that about 30. So let's copy this and just change that to 30. Make that 30. So that's that taken care of. Now let's declare a variable for the keyboard. I'm going to call that keys. Keys equals, add a square bracket, and I'll not close the square bracket. Now that is where my keyboard would be. Now for the numeric value on the keyboard, I'm going to open another square bracket, close that up, and start by entering an apostrophe 1, apostrophe close, comma, apostrophe 2, apostrophe close, comma. Now for 3, apostrophe 3, and apostrophe close, comma, apostrophe open, apostrophe close, apostrophe, comma. And just repeat the same thing for the others. So I'm going to speed that up. Okay, the first row is done. So all I just need to do is to enter a comma, press enter. Let's go to the next one. Enter a square bracket. Now come in here, enter an apostrophe. We have a Q, close that, comma. Then we have W, close that, comma. Then we have E. I believe you guys get the whole idea. So I'm going to just, the next one, let's go to the next line, press enter, and so on and so forth. Now I've taken care of all the characters that will be on the keyboard, but you see this variable name, I'm going to change that to lowercase. I don't want it to be uppercase. And that is all. So the next thing we need to do is to use a loop, a for loop, to get the system going. So let's come down here and just enter for I, comma, equals key rows, The key rules will be an enumerate. So let's say enumerate, and that is going to be for the keyboard. So the keys, all right, on the keyboard. Enter column in there. Now come down here using another for loop. I'm going to call that J. J equals keys in enumerate of the rows. So let's grab all of these, and that is now enumerating the key rows. There, close that as well. Now the next thing is let's create buttons. So I'm going to say buttons, tk dot buttons. So that is Tkinter buttons, and these buttons are going to be inside the mainframe. So I'm going to grab hold of that, paste them in here, and let's say comma, the text that will be on the keyboard, that will be equals keys, comma, the width. The width is going to be, let's make that about 7. Let's go for 7. And heights, I'm going to make the height about, let's say 2. That we do. Dot grid, and the grid is going to be inside rows, row 1 and column 1, which can always be incremented. So column is going to be J, no, J, and the rows should be I, not J, not 1, I. Very good. So let's come down here, and I'm going to then create a display that will just, whatever key you press will be displayed straight onto this text area, no text entry. So let's say tk dot entry, entry, and that is going to also be inside the mainframe. So put that in there. And this, what about the font? Let's go for the font. I'm going to grab hold of this font. That is going to be area as well, and I'm going to reduce the size to about 28. That we do, and it's bold. Then the border style on it is going to be BD equals 5. Okay, comma, and let's add a width there. Let's just make that about 54. And there we go. So let's come down in here and round up the display itself. Come right in here, paste that, dot grid. That will be, let me grab hold of this, paste it in there. And the rows will be, let's say len equals keys. Okay, let's just say keys in there. Now what I meant by that is these keys that will be displayed in there. Now the column, as for the column, that will remain as 0, and I now want to, let's get it padded to the y-axis. I'm going to make that about 10. And what about this span? Let's say column span. I can just say column span here, and that is going to also be linked inside the keys and an array of 0, comma that. All right, so that is fine. Let me rearrange this, bring this here, just cut that off and put it right here. All right, now what else do we need to do? Let's create a function now. Come right down here. I'm going to say function button underscore. Let's get this function indented, else there will be an error. Stick it right there. Function underscore click, and that is going to be keys. Close that off. Now we'll say current. That's a variable, local variable within the function that is going to be display. That's meant to be the text area or the text entry. Dot get whatever you press. So once that is done, let's come down so we have enough room here. Now let's say display dot delete. Grab all of these and paste that in here. Display dot delete, and that is going to be display dot delete. Yeah, that is going to be 0, comma tk dot end. Close that off. Now display dot insert, and that's going to be 0, comma, and what are you inserting? That is going to be a string character that comes from the current input. Let's say plus string character that is from the key itself. All right, so that is fine. Now the next thing is let's create another loop. I might as well just grab a hold of all of these and just change it around. Come right down here and paste right down here. So okay, we have that as a numerator, J as a numerator as well. Then the button that is resident in here, and the size is the size of the button. Let's change that to something something that we can read. I'm gonna make that about 14. Let's come in here and grab all of this and just paste that here and change that to about 14. Now the text on it will be from the keys. The width is 7, the height is that. Then now let's do this. Let's use command here to get hold of whatever we have in there. So I'm going to come in here and type command. Then let's say command equals lambda, and lambda, that will be key equals key equals key. Press enter so that we can see what we're doing. And here I'm just going to enter semicolon in there. Now let's now say button click. We have button click, function button click here. Grab hold of function button click, paste that here. Function button click, that is going to be key. Close that. Dot get grid, dot grid, and the role is going to be I, column is going to be J, and that's it. So I'm going to save that. Let's go to file, save as, and I'm going to give that a name. I'm just going to call it on screen keyboard, and that is with a Y there. That will do. And just click on save, and there, that is it, all done. So let's run it and see what we've put together so far. So go to run, click on mode. There, let's get it indented properly and just bring this here. Right. Okay, let's try it out. Finish indenting it. So go back to run, click on mode. There we go. Look at that, guys. And that's how you create your own on-screen keyboard in Python. So I'm going to just click on anything there. Look at that, guys. And that's it. That's how you create your own on-screen keyboard in Python. Let me show you guys the codes again. Just minimize this or close that. Take it from the top. There. And I'm going to bring it right down here. I believe you can all see it. Take it down. There we go. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. And can you please subscribe to the channel and you can also join to become a member of the channel. You all have a nice day now, and bye for now.